Welcome to the Quantum Revenue Expansion Podcast. My name is Ursula, and I'm a sales expert, strategic business coach, and USA Today bestselling author. I love sharing strategies that show you exactly how to turn your annual revenue into your monthly revenue. If you're looking to take a quantum leap in your revenue or sales, your team, your productivity, your success, and your life, then you are meant to be here. My goal in every episode is to help you take your belief that it's possible to 2x or 10x your revenue while working way less to knowing that it is happening right now. Good day and welcome back to Quantum Revenue Expansion, where we talk about turning your annual revenue into your monthly revenue. I'm your host, Ursula Minchus. Super excited to be doing some solo shows before the end of the year, because for our listeners all over the world, you've been gathering here with us every single week. Like, that was the commitment I made at the beginning of the year. Super excited that we've kept that commitment and I've been able to hang out with all of you, because before the end of the year, I want to give you some really powerful episodes to prep you for 2025 and make sure that it's truly your best year yet. So some of these shows might be a little bit shorter, but they're going to be packed. They're going to have a lot of great content in them for you to get to that next level in your business. Also, it's that time of the year. It's the great giveaway. And Trisha and I have been working behind the scenes to put together the most epic package for you to enhance your business even more. And the way it works is I'll share a link in the show notes. And basically, if you have donated to a nonprofit this year at a specific amount, you'll have to go to the page to find out more. You will receive the incredible package that we have created because you've been giving. So you just have to show proof that you've donated X amount, and then we will give you this incredible package. This is the great giveaway. So really excited to announce that. And again, the information will be in the show notes. So you can certainly learn more and play with us, because I know a lot of you give. You give. So it's one of our ways that we love to give back. Or if you're planning on donating, this is a perfect time to do it. Okay. Today, really excited about the show. We're going to talk about the 10 ways to market on a tiny budget. I liked the alliteration of 10 ways to market on a tiny budget, the alliteration of the T. So we're going with 10. I had to dig. I was like, thinking back over the last couple of decades of all the ways that I have marketed on a small budget and with great results. In fact, some of the greatest mistakes and most costly mistakes I've ever made have been in the area of marketing and paying way too much, like way too much to market, and ending up without any results. And so it's interesting. And I have, talked with other coaches, mentors, people in the service industry space, and I have found kind of the same. Like, the things that I'm going to share with you today are tried and true things you can do right now that don't cost you a lot of money. Some of them cost you nothing, really. And I just want to encourage you to play with the marketing, right? And really think about how you could be marketing to create your best year in 2025. Jay Abraham, who's a great author, he wrote a book called Getting Everything You Can Out of All You've Got, 21 Ways You Can Outthink, Outperform, and Out-Earn the Competition. He shared a really powerful quote in his book. He said, there are only 3 ways to increase your business. 1, increase the number of clients. 2, increase the average size of sale per client. And 3, increase the number of times clients return and buy again. And this, super powerful knowledge and information in terms of, obviously increasing the number of clients that you already work with, which is what we're going to talk about today. Once you have those clients, though, you could increase the size of sale per client by offering them more products and services. So that's certainly something else to think about if you haven't thought about that yet. And to increase the number of times those clients return and buy again. Now, some of the things I'm going to share today in terms of marketing are ways that you can also bring clients back into the fold. And my guess is always that there's clients around you who have already done business with you, would love to come back, And end of year is always a great time to reach out to them. In fact, a lot of our clients have end of year reach outs that they're doing right now to bring those clients back into the business. So just some high level tips there. That's not actually even what I'm going to talk about today, but I wanted to set the framework for there's not a lot of ways to grow your business. There's just not. And it can seem to me, marketing and business growth for our clients and other business owners can seem like some of the most stressful things and can feel overwhelming. And I want to simplify that. I really want to take the pressure off and invite you to look at, you know what if there's some what if there's some easier ways to bring clients in? So I'm just adding some notes here to make sure. All right, so here's my list of 10. Before we do that though, I want to do a little bit of a meditation visualization, provided you're not driving or on the treadmill. If you're on the treadmill, don't close your eyes. If you're driving, don't close your eyes, right? If you're sitting in the safety of your office or you're somewhere still, then please participate, because I want to invite you to tune into your revenue goal. Like, really, what is it that you want to create every single month going forward? Like, what is that number for you? So take a moment just to gently close your eyes and take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And take more air in at the top and hold it. Good. And then out through your mouth, just let it go. Just let it go. Good. And one more time, deep breath in through your nose and hold it. Feeling your feet on the floor, your seat on your seat, and kind of rolling your shoulders back. And then out through your mouth, just let it go. Beautiful. And from this space, I invite you to bring all of your energy back to you. Anywhere you've left you scattered out in the world, just bring you back to you so you can be fully present in this now moment. And then any energy that's sticking to you that's not yours, go ahead and send that energy back to sender with love, fully releasing it from your energy field. Good. And from here, I invite you to raise your frequency a bit. So if you're feeling a little down today or a little rough, like, let's go from that feeling and you can imagine like you are a thermometer, and at the very top of your head is the feeling of joy and bliss. And if that's the top and you're the thermometer and you are standing up right now, where on your thermometer are you right now? Are you like 70% to joy and bliss, 80%, 50%? Just notice that. And I invite you to raise your thermometer. And you can do this anytime in NLP, and NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. It's a way that you can easily increase your frequency by noticing your state. Your state is how you're feeling, and bringing it to the next level. And if you're struggling with that right now, I invite you to smile. Keeping your eyes closed, just smile. And notice how that makes you feel. Really smart people have done lots of studies on smiling, and it raises the endorphins, the chemicals, the happy chemicals in your body. And to me, that's raising your frequency. It's making you feel more happy, more joyful, more hopeful. And just even in this moment, see what it would take to raise it even more, all the way to the top. Because what I want you to remember is we really don't attract or bring in what we expect. We bring in what we feel we expect, right? It's more about, like, you can think you expect something, but if your feeling about it is like, no, that can't happen for me, right? Or if there's subconscious feelings that are just blocking you, it's probably not going to happen. So putting those aside for a moment, just raise that frequency to the next level, really smiling, and start to practice this every day. Because we do really attract what we're feeling. Of course, what we're expecting, but what are we feeling about what we're expecting? That's what I want you to tune into. Beautiful. And from this space now, with this higher frequency, this higher feeling, I invite you to think about your perfect month. Your perfect month. What's your revenue goal? Your perfect month. Like, for example, if you wanted $1 million business, that would be $83,333 a month. If you're more around, the $500,000 range, that's in the 40,000s. If you want to be around 250,000, that's around 20,000 a month. If you're just getting started and you're like, 5,000 a month would be awesome, that's your number. If you're like, I'm ready to have 10,000 a month, that would be your number. So just take a moment. Like, what is your number? Because if you don't declare it, it cannot happen. That's the truth. It can't happen. Beautiful. So having declared this awesome number, we're going to hold the intention in the space that during our time together today, the ideas that come through around marketing for you are going to help you get to that next level in your business. So taking this number with you and this feeling with you, go ahead and gently open your eyes and come to your space. Thank you for doing that with me. That was fun. And I hope you found it fun as well. And know that you can come back to this anytime and do that exercise because it really does make you feel better. It takes you up. It takes you to that next level, right? And when you're feeling more hopeful, more blissful, happier, a little more joyful, you tend to expand your thinking. All right. So from here, I'm going to go through again the 10 ways to market on a tiny budget. And these are things that I've done since the beginning of time in my business. These are things that are tried and true. And again, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, no joke, on Facebook ads, marketing agencies, PR agencies. And no offense, if you have a PR agency and an ad agency and you're killing it for some of your clients, that's awesome. I don't know why that hasn't worked super well for us. It just hasn't in this time and space. And for whatever reason, it's probably maybe not supposed to. And it is what it is. Rebecca and I joke all the time because in human design, and if you guys know Rebecca Hall, a master coach here at Ursula Inc., she is finishing her human design certification. And so she's just brilliant when it comes to human design. In human design, I am a projector, and we're kind of a small percentage of the population. And my whole life, I've lived my life as a manifesting generator. And a manifesting generator is basically, in my world, they have a lot of ideas, they have a lot of energy, they're always coming up with things, and they're growing things. It's pretty easy for them to create things, right? And so I always kind of thought that's what I was because that's how I lived my life, which was pretty exhausting. And then I found out I'm a projector, and it kind of changed everything in terms of how I think about my marketing. And so whether you're a projector in human design, a manifesting generator, a generator, we'll kind of talk through, like, I'm not a human design expert, but I can tell you all of these will work a little bit differently for you depending on, what you are and how you show up in the world. Here's how you know, though. Like, you don't need someone to tell you your human design to even know. It's like, what kind of marketing do you like to do? Like, it's as simple as that. Because in my experience working with our clients, when they're doing marketing that they don't like to do, it doesn't work for them, right? Like, I had a client one time who, she did this program. She paid for a program. And we've all done this, right? She paid for this program. And then at the end of the program, this specific program, she was supposed to go on Facebook Live, like every day, and just talk about things. Okay. Now, for some people, that works awesome. They love to be on camera. They love to be on social media. No brainer. They love it. Well, guess what? If they love it and they feel great about it, they're going to kill it on there. They're just going to kill it. She hated it. She hated everything about that marketing thing. And I did. Like, I had empathy for her and sympathy too, because I've been there. But I said, listen, I know you spent a lot of money on that marketing plan. I've done that, been there, done that, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on marketing that didn't work. It's painful. It's painful lessons. It's not what I love to learn. But the truth is that information is really powerful for you because I said it's given you contrast, which has given you clarity to know how you do like to market. And so that's what I asked her. I'm like, so knowing you don't like doing Facebook Lives on social media, right? On Facebook, what do you like doing? And she paused for a second and she said, I love doing small, intimate workshops in person or online. It was like she was whispering it to me, right? She didn't want anybody to know. Like there's so much shame in the world of marketing for us who don't like marketing in certain ways, who don't love doing big launches, who don't love doing this or that, or just doesn't feel like a fit, or for whatever reason just hasn't worked for us. No matter how we followed somebody else's formula, it just hasn't worked for us. There's shame in that. I get it. And so my invitation for you is to also notice that, like, what just doesn't feel good about marketing, and the flip side of that, what parts of marketing do you enjoy? That's what I want you to ask yourself. Now, let me also clarify this, a few things. You may not like a certain kind of marketing today, but that doesn't mean you won't like doing it if you learn how to do it. So you kind of got to feel into this. And I'll give you an example. We had a client who showed up in our world and I learned about his business, and very quickly, like, because you'll hear this from Rebecca and I, if you've hung out with us, we always want you to have 3 ways to market consistently. And I just knew, I was like, have you tried cold calling or cold emailing? And he said, yes, but it hasn't worked for me. I said, would you be willing to try again? He said, yes, I would. He's like, honestly, I don't love it, but it also hasn't worked for me. So I don't know if I would like it if it actually worked for me. So there is also that caveat, right? So sometimes I think I'm contradicting myself. It's like, here's the thing. In the examples I just showed, like this client who was doing Facebook Meta lives, hated it, was never going to do it anyway, right? So we got to throw that bait. That's just not going to work for her. Even if she got on there, she was so uncomfortable and just felt like, ugh. No, just say no to that. Whereas this client had tried the cold calling, hadn't quite mastered it yet, seemed kind of open, didn't love it, but didn't hate it. Like, I think that was kind of the test, and was still willing, like felt like there was knew at a deep level, just knew that was the fastest path to getting there. So he did it with phenomenal success and more than doubled his business, got so busy that he had to start hiring. Like I need to reach out to him because I'm actually like wondering how he's doing right now in this moment. In a very busy season for him, cold calling worked. Cold calling worked for him. So as we talk about these different aspects of marketing, I just want you to kind of tune in, do a gut check. Like, how does that feel for you? And as I go through the list, my invitation is to have 3 ways that you're marketing consistently. The key word is consistently. If you're going to do something in marketing, you've got to do it consistently because you can't track it unless you do it regularly. And you cannot fully know whether or not it's been successful for you unless you've done it long enough. Fair? Fair. All right. So pick 3 ways, do them, track it, see what works, and we'll go back to that. We'll circle back to that. So in this moment, here's the other thing. Like, Rebecca was introducing me the other day, and she was talking about how good I am at marketing. And I have to tell you that I really had to listen to what she was saying because I've never thought of myself as like great at marketing. Like I never thought, but the truth is I do know how to market. I do know how to sell. I've tried everything that's on the list that I'm going to share today with some success, some with other success. And so I'm realizing over time, I do know a lot about marketing. It's what our clients come to us for. I love helping our clients with marketing. It's so much more fun, of course, for me to look into their business than my own business sometimes, right? And I can tell pretty intuitively, pretty quickly with someone what's going to work with marketing. And the fastest path, that's what we're looking at, is like, what's the fastest path to get where they want to go? What's the fastest path to get to that next level in their business? So that's also what I'm always intuitively listening for. I love to play with the 80-20 rule. That's the Pareto principle, where 80% of your clients are coming from 20% of your marketing efforts. Okay. When I'm working with a new client, like that's what I'm assessing pretty quickly is like, where are their clients coming from right now? And what have they been doing? Because there's something there that works. So one of the ways you market might be a bigger focus for you than some of the other 2 ways you market. And that changes at different times, but just kind of notice that as well. All right. So here we go. 10 ways to market. And I'll talk a little bit about each one. 10 ways to market on a tiny budget. Number 1 way to market is networking. And let me qualify this by saying these are not in a specific order. They're kind of in the order in which I've utilized them over the years and how I've whether or not they've worked for me. So I've put them in that order, but it doesn't mean that they're going to work for you in that order or not. Here's the secret to marketing and to networking, sorry. And this was the rule I followed faithfully when I first started out in the business world. And it worked so well for me. So when it came to in-person networking, like this is really, we can network virtually. I know there's some of you who probably do that really, really well. It's a little bit harder, I think, to network in the virtual world. So I'll just say that, like, if you're part of virtual networking groups, they can work. It's probably not the same as like meeting someone in person. However, since the pandemic, I also feel like we are all a little bit like mushrooms, kind of hiding and not really wanting to go out there. So if it's virtual networking, fine. It just might not be as powerful. I did in-person networking back in the day, but there were 3 ways that I networked that were the most powerful and helpful to me. Number one was I was part of a leads referral group. And that's where people refer business back and forth to each other. And I was in several of those in the beginning. One of them was called Leaders Club back in the day. I don't even know if it still exists back in Corona, California. Shout out to my friends in Corona. And it was powerful. And it's kind of like if you know BNI, it's, Master Networks. It's like groups like that where you intentionally pass business back and forth, which is really powerful. So that was one of the ways I networked. The other way I networked was to be part of an association. For me, that was the National Association of Women Business Owners, and that was in California. And the third way was to be on a board of a nonprofit. And I've been on the board of different nonprofits, but like to be on the board of one that's really charitable. Okay. So I served on the board of Inspire Life Skills, who help youth. They help youth who age out of the foster care system go to college. Those were the three places that I networked. Now, I liked networking at those three places. I enjoyed it. I made some of the best friends that I still have, and it was good for business. I like that mix. I like a direct, intentional, we're referring business back and forth. I like you to be part of an association, and I'd love for you to be on the board of one of your charitable organizations you care about. I will say this too. Wherever you are networking, get involved. You want to be sitting on the board or leading that organization, because that's where a lot of the business happens, is on the board, because you get to know people at a different level, right? You develop a deeper connection with them, and we do business with people we like, know, and trust. Again, I will say that some of those relationships I developed 2 decades ago in California are still powerful connections for me today. Still. And when the pandemic hit, my company, I'd already moved the corporation to Minnesota. Some of the first phone calls I got, though, of people wanting to help my business were from California. Were from the networking that I did then. So can't say enough great things about networking. I don't network as much today in person, simply because, well, number one, I have a son who's very busy in sports and a lot of other things. And so he's my my family's my number one priority. And of course, that takes away some of the time. However, as my business has evolved, as the world has evolved, it hasn't required that. But for some people, in-person networking is still really powerful and really useful in growing the business. The second way that I networked. The second way to market that I think is really effective for me, for sure, is speaking. And this, to me, ties really well to networking, because it was kind of an extended part of the networking that I did, in that I would be invited to speak, especially after I wrote my first book, Selling with Intention. A lot of people wanted to book me on sales. Business organizations love to bring in outside speakers. Sales is a hot topic, right? So I got booked to speak a lot. I always had what I called my enter to win form, where I would give away something at the end. On that form, I specifically asked for referrals to other places that I could speak. So if you're going to do in-person speaking, ask for additional referrals while you're there for other places that you could speak at. One event, I closed 10 additional speaking opportunities. And lately, that's a lot of the work we're doing with our clients in terms of marketing, is helping them write emails to get them booked to speak, to be out there doing some platform speaking, doing some keynote speaking, and also speaking for free where they sell their products or services on the back end. So speaking can be really powerful if you use it strategically. All right. The third thing I did free workshops in the beginning. And I think just about for any business, you can do this, right? For me, being in the coaching and training space, it was essential that, I was out there showcasing my skill set and how I can help people. And free workshops was a great way to do it. Now, I get it. People don't love to do free workshops because the fear is like, oh my gosh, no one's going to come. No one's going to show up. And that couldn't be further from the truth. It doesn't mean people won't come. Let me say this. If I only had 5 people show up to an event, a free workshop, I guarantee you that some of those people still became clients of mine. So there's this fear, I think, when it comes to having a free workshop, that no one is going to show up. And I don't care I don't care how many people show up. I'm still going to show up. I'm still going to deliver. And even if it's a small group, it is highly likely that that small group uh, might be even more successful than a big group, talking to a big group, because they get to connect with you. So offering a free workshop can be a phenomenal way to market your products and services. In person, I love, but these days, like people love, people are used to, since the pandemic, right? Just hanging out virtually online. And that's fine. You can do a free workshop online. What I'll say is this. So if you do it online, um, less like this is what I'm saying now. You probably have a 50% show rate. Like it's not it, or even less sometimes. There's just something about these days, like when you do an online workshop, people kind of want the replay. They might not really want to show up and participate. So if you're going to do an online virtual workshop, just be really clear. Like what are like you're inviting people to show up live, right? You're inviting them to be there. I would do a giveaway. For those people who show up live, you're going to be entered into a drawing. You're going to win something. Or just by showing up live, you get an ebook or something. It doesn't have to be a big thing. But you really want to incentivize people to be there, because if they don't experience the workshop you put together, they're probably not going to take a next step. So, free workshops really tie to the speaking part and the networking part. Okay. The third one I want to talk about when it comes to marketing is snail mail. I don't know about you, but I do not get as many I don't get as much mail as I used to, put it that way. And I don't think a lot of people do. I think times have kind of changed, right? We're virtual. But I will say this, when I get a really good piece of mail, I open it. It's like, ooh, what is this thing? What is this thing that someone has taken the time to mail me? I kind of love getting credit card offers. This sounds kind of crazy. But I love seeing like 0% for 22 months. And I move money around. Like I love playing with money. So those are always really exciting. They come in great packaging. I love the Delta. I have a Delta credit card, which I use in the business. I get great points. I love opening their mail. It's always really good. So snail mail is not dead. And I think sometimes we think it is, and it's not. In fact, we do work with clients and we help them really figure out what they could use snail mail for. Now, for some, it's a great way to invite people to a workshop. For other people, it could just be offering a consultation, a free consultation, or a way to try their product or service. So don't rule out snail mail. It definitely can work. Okay. All right. So let's keep going here. Oh, I have a lot I want to cover yet. I have a feeling this is already taking 30 minutes. So this is going to end up being 2 shows. Let me talk about one more. So I'll have 5 in for this one. Let me talk about signs or door hangers, because that kind of goes with snail mail. We do work with a lot of realtors or people in the space who work with homeowners and construction, real estate, and of course, signs or door hangers. If you're working with homeowners, signs or door hangers still do work. There's a place for them. There's a place and a time. And our clients get phone calls. The key, though, here's the key with any of this marketing, and this is one of the things I spend a lot of time with our clients on, is the actual copy that you're putting on the door hanger, the snail mail. You want it to be very clear. You want it to be very direct, probably written so a 3rd grader could understand it. Probably a 1st grader. I don't know. Our 1st graders and 3rd graders are so smart these days. That's, maybe a kindergartner, and they're super smart too, but written in a way that it's like layman's terms. You can easily understand it. And it's like I have 8 spots. Let's say I'm doing kitchen remodeling. I have 8 spots before the end of the year. And when I remodel your kitchen, you're also going to get a free sink. Be one of the first to call, blah, blah, blah. Here's some beautiful pictures. Here's my phone number. It's very direct. It gives a clear call to action. I know what to do. And, I'm going to do it. right? They're going to take action if that's something that they need. Probably a client testimonial on there as well. Now, this same idea can also simply be a sign, right? Or a PDF that you post somewhere. Maybe you post it at your local coffee shop. Maybe you post it at one of your client partners, right? Maybe you have, which we'll talk about a little bit more about referral partners, but maybe you have a client partner who has the same clients that you do, same obvious clientele. So they'd let you post it there, right? So again, you want to have that clear call to action, inviting them to take the next step, etc. So those are the first 5. I'm going to do a second part of the show just because I know some of you like to listen in small chunks. So what we talked about today, we talked about networking, we talked about speaking, we talked about workshops, we talked about snail mail, and we talked about signs or door hangers as really powerful ways to market. And hopefully this is starting to spark some ideas for you. In part 2, I'll actually do a part 2 of this. In part 2, I'm going to share 5 more ways to market, and I'll talk about how we utilize them in our marketing and how they kind of feed into each other. Because ultimately, right, all of your marketing points to your client journey and how people work with you. That's why we always want 3 ways to market. I'm just taking some additional notes because I want to share these things next time. So that's it for part 1. This was part 1 of 10 ways to market on a tiny budget. And I'll be back ASAP with part 2. Thanks for hanging out with us today at Quantum Revenue Expansion and wishing you your most epic month yet. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode. If you loved what you heard, be sure to leave a review on iTunes so I know what you like and can create content that guides you to up-level your business even more. If you want more strategic business tips, follow me on social media. You'll find me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn, and you can visit my website at www.ursulainc.co. I love being on this journey with you and can't wait to connect with you on the next episode. In the meantime, make this your most epic month yet.